Good morning, everybody. This is Dougan, Belarus again, and I'm in Belarus. I'm in Branovici. I don't quite know what the date is. I can tell you one thing for sure, that it's the day after yesterday, whatever the date was yesterday. So, you see, I really know what's going on. But I wasn't even planning on doing any kind of a video today. I was thinking I'm not going to be doing that many videos anyway, but you know, sometimes you see these events happening, or you have some sort of a thing that you see or whatever, and you then you want to report on it. It's very significant, and you know, that happened to me. You know, in the past day, it was. Oh, look at this! It's beautiful here. I don't know if you can see this. How this looks. I don't know how that comes through. You know how that is. Sometimes the eye, you can see things that are much more beautiful than your camera can see. And but what I'm going to be talking about today is I had somebody that leaves comments, and her name is Uta Brock in Germany, and she left you know, maybe a request for me to watch a video, and somebody that I really didn't know. I've been following Earl Grey, of course, and he went to, or he's still in Donbass, of course, with somebody as partner, which is John Mark Dougan, who I had never heard of previously, but he's an American, a former military person like myself, and he's been doing a lot of very, very good reporting, and he's been in Donbass for, you know, a longer period of time. So, and he did this documentary. She told me about, Uta was telling me about a video, and I don't think she remembered the name, but I got the name from somebody else, and I should try. I wrote this stuff down. I should just try to read it. Oh, Russian fighter jets, if you can hear it. Training area around here. Training for what? So, anyway, Belarusian military. You know, it's for training for that as well. You know, for who knows how many years, maybe since the 1960s, but anyhow. I got sidetracked, and but anyway, this I saw one video from John Mark Dougan, and it was when he went to Azovstal, and it was very, very moving, because it tells a lot of truth that the West, people in the West, are not getting this truth at all, obviously, and those that are watching this video, most of you all know that, and I'm hoping that maybe some of the algorithms will direct this to people that are brainwashed, you know, and indoctrinated, and that film has a lot. The second film, not the Azovstal, but the other film, talks about the indoctrination of people in the Ukraine, and I've been mentioning that, but it's so good to see this in a video and see a little bit more detail on how this is done. But I was aware of this, and I might not have really stressed that enough. But when you see it in a video like this one that Uta Brock had recommended that I watch, you know, it just brings it home a lot more, and it's a lot better. And let's see, it's something like, if I can remember most of the name, it's I took the video from John Mark Dougan is I took a liberal anti-war protester to Donbass. So you can find that yourself in case you maybe are not quite familiar with that. And I think it was done 2 months ago. And it was a woman. I didn't catch her name, and it wasn't. No insult to her. It wasn't that important to me. I don't know if people really want their names mentioned so much anyway. You know, maybe I shouldn't be mentioning anybody's name. Some people don't like that, and she does because, of course, she made the video, and it takes a lot of courage to, at one time, be some sort of a liberal like that, and then admit that you're wrong. You know, most people, they don't want to admit that they're wrong, of course, and they don't do it. Even if deep down they know they're wrong, and they won't say it. You know, us men, we have the disease much more than women. You know, at least more women are able to admit that they were wrong or made a mistake than men. But of course, you see women like Annalena Baerbock or Ursula von der Crazy. You know, they'll never admit that they're wrong, because they're in these positions. I think it's probably a cultural thing when you're in a political position like that, or in some authority place. You know, that's, I think, the impetus that drives you never to, at least try not to admit you're wrong. And politicians, if they ever admit they're wrong, that's the end of their career normally. So that's why you never hear politicians say that they were wrong about anything. That it takes a lot more strength to admit that you made a mistake than it does not to admit you've made a mistake. So, a lot of people, think that somebody who's forceful and all is stronger. But you see somebody like, for example, like I mentioned before, Mel Gibson, when he's made mistakes, he's come right out and said it. And I say that takes a lot more strength and power to do that than to always insist that you are right and try to keep pounding that square peg into that round hole. So anyway, besides that, so let me get into more of what I was trying to say. If I can find a clean and dry place to sit down here rather than walking, because I wrote this down. I often forget some certain things to say, and I regret it. So this time I wrote it down, and I was hoping to make just a small video, but it's turning out it's going to be a little bit longer than I wanted to. They're doing good work. Earl Grey, Mike from Earl Grey, foreign agent, and John Mark Dougan. So then I was interested in Mike's travels, and then of course Uta, told me about John Mark Dougan. And now I'm finding out that he's so great. But another person that mentioned I should watch this video is Palma Kisco. Is another person that comments on my channel. So I thank these people for urging me to watch this. So anyway, okay, the real title is I Took a Liberal Anti-War Protester to See the Truth in Donbass. And there was a significant part in there. The most significant part that I draw from this is that she was showing, or at least the video was showing, that there was a person that told John Mark Dougan and this brave woman about the indoctrination programs that Ukraine does to the children, and I was speaking about that, not necessarily the children. I mentioned something about that in other videos, but as I say, it's now I know, seen it more personal and up close than before. So Babushka out for a walk here, but he's showing these books, that they give to the children. Oh, he's walking out with a cat. Look at this. Looks like a male cat. Kot, not a koshka. Oh, here comes another cat. Oh, look at this. Sorry about this. I love cats. So, but yeah, they're talking about the indoctrination, and they're showing these books, and they're teaching them to hate Russians, and it's like where this man brings out these books, and it's like I said, being taught in Ukrainian schools. And I had mentioned before, something, and I'll get to that too, but they're taught that Russia is evil and stupid and the cause of all of Ukraine's problems, and I've mentioned that, of course, as well. But as I say, this video brings that home. But not only do they teach the children, to hate Russia like this, they also teach, as I have emphasized, like I said in other videos, that the Ukrainians are the saviors and the protectors of all humanity on Earth, and that they're the greatest people. And it's very reminiscent of what they were probably trying to teach the German children in the 1930s in Germany. They were, at least not in this movie, not in this video from John Mark Dougan, but what I have heard before, that they teach the children, probably a little bit older. I think some of the books that they were using in the video, they were for like maybe 7-year-olds, 10-year-olds. I'm not too sure, but in what I have seen, they're trying to tell people that it was Ukrainian engineering that is responsible for the construction of the pyramids of Egypt. So the Ukrainians are the ones that were in charge of the design of the pyramids of Egypt. So that's what they're telling them. They also said the ancient Ukrainians dug out the Black Sea, the entire Black Sea, with their bare hands. And that's why, so in other words, it's like that is a personal property of Ukraine, the entire Black Sea, because they dug the Black Sea out with their bare hands. So that's the early indoctrination that the children get in the Ukraine. Not just a seething hatred of Russia. And you can imagine if this is all happening in the Baltic countries too. So, like I say, they're trying to say that the Ukraine is the greatest gift to humanity, and that Russia is trying to keep them down. The evil Russians. Yeah. So they have to destroy the Russians. Slava Ukraina. And remember when they, after this Maidan coup, where the U.S. sponsored, and partly in Europe, and obviously it must be the British, sponsored the overthrow of the democratic elected government of Ukraine, and and then they were right afterwards, they had everybody, in western parts of Ukraine jumping up and down. I can't even forget that. If you're not jumping, you're a Russian, as if it's the biggest insult in the world to be called a Russian. So you can see this stuff. It's really incredible. But the person doing the, that John Mark Dougan is interviewing, and she was actually anti-Russian before that. And she was not necessarily pro-Ukraine, but she was, she said, but it's like she had more sympathy towards Ukraine than of course, Russian government and Russian people, because of this military operation. And and she knows, when she reflects on it, it's very good that she says that they were not taught that in Russia. They were not taught to hate. After she saw these books in Ukraine, what they're teaching the Ukrainian children, and I think these books, they might even have been before this this special military operation. They might have been trying to force this onto the children of the Donbass. And it's sort of like what happened in World War II after the defeat of Nazi Germany. I shouldn't say the word Nazi because the algorithms probably won't show this video to many people if I'm using that word. And but I think there was even a book, and I don't know if it was Hannah Arendt or what the real name was, but there's one called The Burden of Guilt, and that's why Germans are not even allowed to sing their national anthem anymore, because it's maybe too reminiscent of Deutschland, Deutschland über alles and all that. Every German knows those words, Deutschland, Deutschland über alles. So maybe it's kind of a Streisand effect when something they'd want to ban and everybody knows it, but you're not allowed to sing the national anthem in Germany. And as you know, a lot of time in Germany, if you deny the Holocaust, you can go to prison. Be put in prison if you deny the Holocaust. And and it's not like you should deny the Holocaust, but it's very obvious that it was not as they tell you it was. Sure, you everybody knows some of these words and things of the Führer, Adolf Hitler and all that, and and a lot of things, but a lot of these incidences, of course, were overdone. And if you think 6 million Jews died at the hands of the Nazis, that makes you really wonder, where did they get 6 million when there was only 4.5 million from the tip of Portugal all the way, I think, to the Polish border in the entire continent of Europe? 4.5 million that they highly project. So how did he get 6 million to kill? So obviously that number comes from some other source, and it was even before World War II. I think they said in World War I 6 million Jews died. So that's a fantasy figure. I'm probably not allowed to say this on a video, and it's not that I am pro-Nazi at all, so just keep that in mind. I don't like fake information. Just like this video that I'm talking about, you know, this woman didn't like the fake information either. So, but let's go back down to where I was leaving off here. Yeah, like you know, emphasize that they don't teach hate of any culture in Russia or in Belarus. You know, they teach you to appreciate all cultures. It doesn't matter if you're from Africa or from Ukraine or from Great Britain or Germany. Even during the time of the special military operation, when they're banning anything that is pro-Russian, any, you know, music or books or anything, and they're trying to get rid of them all in Europe. At that time, they had, I remember here in Belarus, they had a special that was on Beethoven's birthday, and it was going like for 2 hours, the music of Beethoven, you know, from Germany, from Bonn, Germany. And can you just imagine if the tables were turned, that they would not be doing that in Germany. And I certainly wish it wasn't Germany that I'm talking about, because I don't want to draw any correlation, you know, correlations with the past. But you see what ideology is starting to take hold in the collective West. You know, you see that this is not good, and it's attacking people by stealth there. It shows the level of brainwashing, indoctrination that's going on throughout the West. At the moment, you know, we're being trained unknowingly to be the new Nazis, and the Russians are the new Jews. So, and they're trying to teach you in the West to hate everything Russian more than what was going on in Germany in the 1930s against the Jews. And if you realize this, you realize what sort of a trap that they're putting you into. And I'm not trying to say that if they were able to destroy Russia, who's next? I'm not trying to say that. But it's something to think about too. Who's going to be after the Russians? You know, whoever the designated enemy of the month is for the United States. You know, and all of this stuff is going on much faster. In France, you cannot believe. I know people in France, and the level of anti-Russia hate that they're trying to force into the people there, it's just incredible. They're already very far along in the Baltic states. I was in Latvia, like I say, and they had things of hatred of Putin all over the place, and they were virtue signaling Ukrainian flags on, I don't know, I would say 25 to 30, 40, 50% of the buildings, Ukrainian flags all over the place. You know, and like I said, and then they had things painted like in red and like it's blood or something, and saying that Russia's doing all this, and it's just incredible to teaching people, you know, this seething hatred of you know, of collective peoples and things like that. You know, like I mentioned in the video yesterday that my mother, when she came to the United States, they told her not to speak German. I mean, I'm not saying the authorities, but she was highly advised from everybody not to speak German, because, you know, in America, you know, they taught everybody to hate Germans, I think, during the World War II time, hate Japanese, you know, put them all in concentration camps. I remember in Seattle area there was one as well, and you know, so you really have to stop and think about what the media and what the government is doing to your mind, you know, and teaching you. And I'm not just trying to say that I'm promoting these Christian values, because it should be humanity. These are human values that I'm talking about here. And once they start doing this further and further with Russia, I mean, are they going to be able to put the genie back in the bottle? You know, what are they out to do against Russia? And they're looking at like Russia, like correlating that with Germany in the 1930s, and China correlating that as Japan during that time, during World War II. So instead of the Germany and Japan, now we have Russia and China as enemies number one on Earth. And they're trying to preach unity, you know, and to get along with each other. And yet in the West, they're trying to preach hatred. And times like today with the internet, it makes you really wonder if this is going to be successful or not. Are they really going to be able to convince enough people to go and like kill Chinese and Russians, you know, for what reasons, you know? And you're going to wonder, you can fill in the blanks yourself. Corporate reasons, domination, exploitation of certain lands, people, slavery of certain people, humiliation. Yeah. Anyway, that's enough for this video right now. But I urge you to watch that video, you know, and there's that other video also from John Mark Dougan with the when he takes that trip into Azovstal, and Graham Phillips is also in that one. I don't think there's Patrick Lancaster in there, but or maybe not even Ava Bartlett. But you know, these are all very good people. I had a talk, and I'm in Russian classes right now. There's a chance, if this is still going, I might also be heading down there myself, you know, trying to find a way and think about how I could be helpful, and maybe go into some of these areas, and to show people more about what is really going on. I have no fear to go down there. That's not fear whatsoever. It's more like a little bit of money, and I don't want to beg for money from people. And I would be staying, well, in the winter, I don't know where I'd be staying. I'd try to find some sort of a shelter. I don't need a hotel necessarily. I just need a place, you know, maybe to bathe every other day at least, or something, or once a month. Just kidding. Anyway, thanks for watching, and oh, people are coming to say hello. Oh. Я не говорю по-русски. Немного говорю.
Ну вы же понимаете меня.
Я немного говорю. Я английский.
Вам что-нибудь подсказать? Вас что-нибудь интересует?
Es ist красиво, interessiert in Kat und Koschka. Ganz красиво. That's good. But anyway, I'll say goodbye to you guys. I'll talk to this lady, or at least try to talk to her. Till next time. Well, I tried to keep talking to that lady, but she walked away. Maybe she thought I was being, I don't know, she thought I was insulting her, or maybe that she was just running away. She's over there trying to get in, but anyway. Subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.